Right, we're back at UDT and London's Excel Centre in Docklands, talking to Dan Pritchard from Tech Southwest, founder of this industry group that brings together tech, startup, investors, primes, all to try and boost Britain's underwater technology system.
Absolutely, yeah. In a nutshell, 100%. And I'm the idiot in the room, right? I'm the non-defence guy. But I'm an innovation ecosystem player. So what I've identified and what we know is, to speed up innovation, you need a mix of things, right? You need the capital. You need the bigger players, the corporates, the primes. You need those founders and entrepreneurs. It's messy and it's scrappy and it's super busy. You need the universities, the talent pipelines, and you need government and the regulation piece. So what we're doing, and that panel discussion, Colliding Worlds, is let's get those people together and start talking, breaking down barriers, because we need to speed it up, right? The essence of this conference is innovate harder, faster, than we haven't done for a long, long time.
Britain's armed forces, the Royal Navy, the Ministry of Defence, have a reputation for being institutionally conservative. They don't like taking risk. They don't move very fast. They don't like anything that disturbs their large multi-billion pound, multi-year programs. How do you get over to these guys who are institutionally skeptic about this kind of technology, that this is the future?
Yeah, so firstly, I don't think we need to get over. I think they've already convinced in terms of we've had the wake-up call in the last 5 years at a geopolitical level with Ukraine, with what is happening in Iran and then. So I think the realization of innovation can be fast, can be scrappy. Sort of what happened in Ukraine in terms of drone technology and what have you, that has been a huge wake-up call. The other thing is, we are now already running the UK Marine Autonomy Programme, Tech Southwest, with the likes of Babcock, with the government watching, with the Ministry of Defence watching on, with the startups in the room. So it is happening. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but what's the option? Innovate like we've never done before, or stand back and watch China, watch America, watch Europe go on that journey quicker, faster, and harder than us. We've got a proud tradition, we've got heritage, we've got amazing engineering and advanced technologies in so many different areas around defence as well as defence. So I think what they quite like about Tech Southwest is we're the messy generalists. Hundreds and hundreds of companies, clean tech, marine, quantum, AI. Suddenly, all those things become relevant to the journey we're on, like defence.
Is there not a danger that in this conservatism of the Royal Navy and the Ministry of Defence, that they'll only really embrace the new tech when they lose a ship? I mean, you need the analogy of the two battleships outside Singapore in 1941, where up until that point, the Royal Navy perhaps didn't really embrace aircraft carriers and naval aviation. And only when they got a ship sunk did the Admiralty wake up and say, we've got to get that stuff, get rid of these battleships. It's a pretty brutal logic of warfare.
And I guess that proactive and reactive, it's never going to be one or the other. I suppose what we're trying to do is you need to be both, I suppose, at a governmental level, and in that world, startups, 80% of startups fail. That's in the UK. That's the same today as it was 10 years ago, which is really disappointing. But that is also where the innovation happens. That is also where those sparks of curiosity lead to companies getting going, leading to investment coming in. And we've got huge challenges around that. The investment, that middle bit between the big primes and the key players and the world of startups and then scale-ups, in terms of the technology takes time. The procurement takes time. Understanding the complexities of the supply chain and all those things and security take time. But if we don't do it, if we don't bring these worlds together and understand that and smash through some of the regulation, but keep, for the right reasons, into the speeding up the innovation so we can learn fast, fail fast in the right environments. Babcock made a really good point on that panel in terms of I cannot blow up electronics in my job, whereas I start saying that's what we're doing all the time. We're taking this stuff and we're blowing it up. We're blowing it up at sea in these conditions, so we're learning fast. Babcock are interested in that, and that's really those melding of those two worlds, because ultimately everyone wants the same thing, right? Speed up the innovation for the impact we need.
Down in the Southwest, you are in a very interesting position. You have the Minister for Defence, Readiness and Industry, Mr. Luke Pollard, is the local MP in Plymouth.
Absolutely.
How is he embracing your industry, your technology, and breaking down doors, kicking people up the backside to say, we've got to do this stuff?
Yeah, well, I sit on the Team Plymouth Innovation Board alongside corporates, alongside universities, alongside local councils, alongside government officials, alongside startups. And that itself is a sign of these things are happening. And Luke and other MPs, actually, of all colours, get it and are driving this forwards. And you know, it's super exciting to be part of it. And I suppose the challenge to Luke Pollard and others is we've only just begun, and it's not going to be an easy journey. But the more he can be standing up at the national level and the international level, you know, that sends signals out. It also helps our startups. Our best companies go international now quicker than ever before. Usually within 2 to 3 years, they've already got their first overseas pilot projects, corporate partners, those kind of things. And if we want to keep them in the UK, never mind the Southwest, we've got to show them that all those other components are there in terms of government backing, simplifying regulation, talent pipelines, all those things. And I think Team Plymouth is a sort of a epitome of that. And it's one example, and there are others in terms of we are all around the table. Sometimes the cultures clash, sometimes the language is different, but we are all around the table working together. You know, this resilience piece, this defence has sat for too long over here, while the world of tech and startups and scale-ups and investments sat over here. It can't anymore. It has to be.
So over the next year, 5 years, what are the things we need to watch? What are the things that show this stuff is really happening? What should we watch for?
Well, I suppose the things it should be about the time it takes to get to market. The time it takes to get to market is that new innovation, whether it's spin out from a university, an established company who realizes they need to speed up, innovate, they need to change because they're seeing what's happening in Ukraine or elsewhere. And that time to get to market in defence, of course, often involves government, often involves Royal Navy in this case, and others. So that is the big challenge, because you know, the time to market, those runways, if we can shorten those even just a little bit, that has a massive effect in terms of the amount of money, the amount of time, the death rate of those startups, you know, the ones that can have that lead into. That is the ultimate measure of how quickly we can get things to market. And that, sadly, is what was tested in Ukraine, and where credible agility and innovation was developed on the fly because they had to, because they were being attacked. We're not being attacked in the same way, so the urgency is real, it is there, because of the geopolitical situation we're in. So that's how I would measure it.
Britain's naval power has always been measured by the number of ships we have. And it's always a great tradition that a member of the royal family comes down to the shipyard, whacks a bottle of champagne on the side of the ship.
They love opening buildings. They love the red tape.
Yeah. So in the future, what will replace launching a frigate in the tech world? What is the equivalent of launching a frigate for Britain's naval power in the world of technology?
It's going to be multifaceted. It already is in China and elsewhere. You know, I've got 2 sons. One's a submariner. One's just competing a game developer course. He's an expert coder in terms of manipulating digital landscapes. Now, both of those are relevant to the future of defence in the UK. It's not neither one or the other. When you think about the Southwest, from GCHQ in Cheltenham to what we have in Wiltshire, into the Army, to Dorset, and to Devon, and Plymouth, and all the other things, and Fleet, you know, we are the largest defence cluster in the UK, and it's, you know, that working together means. But we've got to bring in the digital, the techie, the AI, the cyber, and everyone gets that. It's just how we make those things join together. And that's not easy, but first thing is building trust, getting everyone in the room.
Okay, well, we'll come back next year, maybe the year after, and see how it's all gone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.